last year I applied for my Canada study permit, and guess what? They refused my application. You know, because of two silly mistakes that I made. Yeah, they refused me. So today in this video I'm going to share with you those mistakes, and I'm hoping that you will avoid them. Alright? I mean, we learn from our mistakes, right? So if you want to find out more about these mistakes, let's get right into the video. So before I get into the mistakes, let me share with you some of the good things that I did first, right? Let me get into some of the good things that I did first. Alright, okay, so the first thing that you have to do is to research the colleges that you are going to apply for. Research the colleges that are offering your program, and then you choose. Now, this is the easiest part of the application. This is the easiest part of the entire process, because once you are qualified, I don't see any reason why you should be refused your application. So yeah, this was the easiest step. I mean, I was excited. I was really optimistic about this whole thing. Alright, so I did my research, I chose my college, applied for the school, paid my application fee, which is non-refundable, and then I waited for the offer. When I got accepted to the school, yeah man, the girl was real happy. I was real happy, and you know, that allowed me to move on to the next steps. I want to share that when you are applying for a school, please pay attention to the province that you are applying for. If your intention is to obtain permanent residency at the end of your studies, you have to be careful of the type of school that you are choosing, right? So please ensure that it is a public college or public university, because this is the only way you will be awarded points for attending a college or a university in Canada, right? Also pay attention to the province that you want to reside in, right? Because as we know, there are different immigration programs in each of the provinces, right? So please do your research and, you know, make it make sense for you, right? So let's move on. After I obtained my offer letter, I accepted it, and I was given a deadline to pay the initial deposit to secure my spot, right, to secure my seat. So I did that. I made my deposit, my minimum deposit, and yes, so my seat was secured. So once I got that, then I was now able to start the process of applying for my study permit. Now on this letter, this is a letter that you will be taking to the immigration, to the embassy, and on this letter it contains information on the breakdown of the course, cost of studies, an estimated total of the living expenses per month, and other minor fees, you know, that were incorporated in this letter. Right, so it gives you a little insight of how much money you will have to spend during the course of your studies. Right, so you know, they make it really easy for you, and they make it real easy. So it's nothing too hard and fast. It's just really simple, right? So so the documents that I had to gather was my bank statements. I also did a statement of purpose, so what we call an SOP, or letter of intent, whatever you want to call it. Right, in this SOP, I mentioned some detailed information about myself and my family. Right, I told them who I was, what I do for a living, the reason why I chose Canada to study, the reason why I chose the school, the reason why I chose the program, the reason why I chose the program, and right, and I also I also informed them that, hey, I'm going to be coming back to my home country, right, to reunite with my family, things of that sort. So you have to give them like ties to your country, and you must convince them that you are coming back to your home country, right, after your studies. Okay. In addition to that, I also had to get copies of my travel history, copies of my both visas, the US and Canada. So let them know that I'm used to traveling, you know, I'm gonna stay in another country after studying, you know. So I ensured that all of those things were included in my application. I chose to apply online as opposed to the paper-based, because I just believe that online was a little bit faster and better, more convenient to me, you know. So I uploaded all these information, all the documents online. It's a very simple process. Some people pay to get this done, but I didn't see the need for that because it's so simple, right? So after I uploaded all those documents, I submitted my application. It cost me 150 Canadian dollars. Right, after submitting the application, bam, I had to wait for 6 weeks. Now the processing time at that point in time was 6 weeks. I think the time has changed now. Some time ago it was like 15 weeks, 14 weeks, and it was just fluctuating, right? But having this done, you know, I had to wait. When you submit your application online, immediately or some minutes after, you will get an email from CIEC stating that they have received your application. Now the good thing about the online application is that you are able to view your status. All you have to do is to log into your account and check your status. You will see when they are processing it. You will see when it is submitted. You will see if they need an additional document. They will email you and let you know. You upload it, things like that. So that's why I'm saying that the online application was extremely easy. So now the hardest part of this application for me personally was waiting. That was the most terrifying 6 weeks of my entire life. You know, being so anxious, and you know, it's not good to be anxious and to be worried about nothing, but you know, the fact that this was one of my dreams, you know, I was just anxious and worried at the same time. All right, so that's basically what I did in the process of submitting, from applying to the school until I submitted the application. So I had to wait for 6 weeks, right? So let's get right into the mistakes that I made. After 6 weeks of waiting, bam, I got the email, right? No, my heart was real power. I was like, oh my God, the email coming in, bam. When I looked at it, the status of it was refused. I mean, that was the most, I was terrified, but I was not surprised because I knew somewhere along, I mean, when I submitted the application, I felt as though I did something wrong. I felt as though I just felt something that wasn't right. Something just didn't sit right. And I was convinced that I made a mistake, right? So when I got the refusal letter, this is what it stated, and I'm going to just read it out for you. Now they will send you a letter, whether or not you are accepted or you're not accepted, they are going to send you a letter, right? So I'm going to read it here for you. Thank you for your interest in studying in Canada. After careful review of your study permit application and supporting documentation, I have determined that your application does not meet the requirements of the Immigration and Refugee Protection Act and Immigration and Refugee Protection Regulations. I am refusing your application on the following grounds. Pursuant to paragraph 220A of the IRPA, I am not satisfied that you have sufficient and available financial resources without working in Canada to pay the tuition fees for the course of or program of studies that you intend to pursue. you have not demonstrated that you have sufficient income and assets to justify your proposed studies. You are welcome to reapply if you feel that you can respond to these concerns and can demonstrate that your situation meets the requirements. All new applications must be accompanied by a new processing fee. Now, when I read this letter, I was deeply hurt. I was deeply hurt, but as I said before, I was not surprised because all along, although I was waiting for the entire 6 weeks, I was convinced that something went wrong. And I'm going to tell you what I did wrong now because I finally delayed too much. So let's get right into it. If you like this type of content, please subscribe to this channel, give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to click on that notification bell so that you won't miss when I post my new videos, alright? Now, before I submitted my application, right, what I did, I printed my bank statements. Then I made a deposit to the school. Now, remember I told you that initially I had to pay a deposit, a minimum deposit to secure my seats, right? But at the end, when I was close to applying for the study permit, I printed my bank statement and I paid off the balance for the semester. So I paid one semester. So the funds that I showed them was funds for my living expenses and my second semester, right? And that was a mistake that I made, right? To print my bank statement, then make a payment to the school. That was something that really messed up my application. So I'm letting you guys know that you are supposed to pay for your schooling, whether it be the minimum deposit or whether it be for the entire year. You are supposed to pay for your schooling, pay your tuition, and then you print that bank statement so that the dates do not, look a certain way, right? So it looks suspicious, right? So I guess what they did is they looked at the dates when I printed and when I paid, right, before and after, and that really threw me off. So that is one of the things. So they were not convinced. They believed that I used the money that I printed on the statement. They were of the opinion that, hey, you used some of that money and then you print, then after so that's where I messed up. And I just want to let you guys know that they're extremely serious about funds, right? They don't want you to come to Canada and depend on anyone. You are not guaranteed that you will get a part-time job to take care of your tuition and your living expenses. So proving to them before is extremely vital, right? And that is why I messed up. But what I didn't understand was the fact that they said that I did not have sufficient income and assets to justify my proposed studies. I wasn't understanding that. I mean, what do they mean by I don't have enough assets? Right? Did I have to show that I have a mortgage? Did I have to show that I have vehicles? So I was extremely confused. I was really confused. So what I did, I shared my information in a group that I was on Facebook, and someone sent me a link, right, where I could pay to obtain the notes, where the officers, I could pay to obtain notes, right, and see exactly what the officers said about my application, right, because this letter is actually a generic letter. It's generic, right, meaning that they didn't go into the full details, right? So this is just like on the surface of my refusal. So I really wanted to find out, because in order to reapply, I had to get this idea of exactly what the problem was, so I'll be able to tackle it in my second application. So that is exactly what I did. So there is this site where you apply for the GCMS notes. I think it's the GCMS notes, but I'll leave everything down below, so just in the event that you do not your application is refused, you can refer to that link and pay for the notes, right? So I did that. I paid for the notes. It cost me 20 Canadian dollars, and within a month I got the exact notes, everything in details. And what they said was exactly what happened, right? They said that they are convinced that I used the some of the money that I showed them, right, because of how I printed the statement, then I made the payment. So that was the biggest mistake that I made, and it's costing me now, right? I don't know, it's so good to follow your spirit, right? It's so good to follow your spirit. When something that's sitting right with you, you just have to follow your spirit and say, hey, come on, you know? Anyway, right? So that was a mistake, and so that was one of the things that they mentioned, right? Right, the second thing that they mentioned was the fact that I claimed to be a single parent, but I did not state where or what arrangements I will be making for the children. So, really and truly, I really did not state that. I did not put, and they also mentioned that I did not state that they will be accompanying me to Canada. So, where are you going to leave these children, ma'am? Where are you going to leave them? So yes, so I that was the second thing that I did not do. I did not tell them exactly what. I didn't go into details, but I know I did mention in my SOP that I'll be reunited with my family. So I'm thinking maybe I don't have to do that, but they wanted me to be specific, right? So what I found out is that it's always good to let's say that you're leaving your children in the hands of a caretaker. That caretaker must write a letter, and it's good to have it, I think it's notarized letter, or affidavits, right? Have it done that way, so it will be looking professionally done, and that the person indicate that I will be taking care of the children while so and so is away, things like that, you know. Or if you're leaving them with your spouse, if you have a spouse and you're leaving them with them, then you indicate that your spouse write a letter stating that I'm going to be leaving I'll be taking care of so and so, my wife will be, or my husband will be, attending college, and I'll be taking care of them. Easy as squeezy. All they need is documentation. The more documentation that you can show for your application, it's going to be better for you, right? So these are the mistakes that I made, and I just hope that you will not make these mistakes. However, so let's talk about the proof of funds. Now, you must show proof of funds for your full year of study and the living expenses, right? But try not to be exact. Try not to show them exact. Try to go over, so that they won't be suspicious of anything, right? So if you can pay off for the entire year, good for you. If you can pay for one semester, that's okay. But try and pay as much as possible, or show as much as possible, right? Try to show as much as possible, because it will just strengthen your application. They want to see that you have money. Once you have money, you're good to go. Once you can show them that you have access to these funds, you're good to go. If someone is sponsoring you, let them write a letter stating their relationship with you, whether it be your father, whether it be your mom, I think the closer you are in relations, it's going to be better, because having a friend sponsor you, I don't know how you're going to prove that, but the closer relation you have with that person, it will be better for you. All right. Also, right, so let's talk the expenses now. The expenses goes like this. Living expenses for the primary applicant is 10,000 Canadian, and then if someone is accompanying you, whether it be your spouse or your dependent, they will have to show 4,000. Anybody after that will have to show 3,000. All right. So let's say you're taking your spouse and maybe 2 children, then you have to show 10,000 for you, 4,000 for your spouse, 3,000 for the first child, 3,000 for the second child, and so on. All right. Once you can cover that, you're good to go. If you want to show funds for your plane tickets, maybe and any other extra that you can. As I said before, the more money that you can demonstrate, or the more money that you can show them, things will be really looking up for you, right? Now, since they denied my visa, I have not reapplied yet, but I really do plan on doing so. You know, it's really hard leaving your children here. It's really a tough decision, you know, so that's why I have been delaying that much. But I'll be applying very soon, and I will be happy to share the results. Whether I am successful or not, I will be sharing the results with you guys. And I hope that if you are applying for your visa, if you're applying for your study permits, please try to avoid dismissing insufficient funds. They are very keen on that. Do not make that mistake. Do not even make that mistake. Provide as much documents as possible that can, you know, support your application, you know, for them to fully understand your situation and be convinced that, hey, you're not on no tricks, you know, right? So yeah, that is what I experienced, and I hope that this information was beneficial to you in some way or the other, and that you will be successful in your application. I know that you will. And feel free to share your journey and maybe other tips that you can maybe offer to me, or you know, I'll really appreciate it. All right, so please don't forget to subscribe, click on that notification bell, because I'll be posting more videos based on immigrating to Canada, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye bye.